Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving into a major international development. It involves the United States, Iran, and rising tensions in the Middle East. Let's break it down in detail. Over the past few months, former US President Donald Trump has taken a very aggressive stance on foreign policy, from issuing warnings to countries like Venezuela to putting pressure on NATO allies, Canada, and even Panama. His approach has been bold and confrontational. However, recent developments suggest that force and intimidation alone may not be enough to shape global outcomes. Experts believe that diplomacy and negotiation remain key tools in international politics, and current events seem to reflect that reality. Now let's talk about the most critical element: the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway is one of the most important oil transit routes in the world. A large portion of global energy supply passes through it. Iran has proposed a plan where the strait would be jointly controlled by Iran and Oman. In addition, a toll system may be introduced, meaning ships passing through would have to pay a fee. According to Iran, this revenue would be used to rebuild infrastructure damaged during the conflict. However, this proposal has sparked serious concerns in the United States. Critics argue that it would give Iran significant economic and strategic power in the region. This brings us to a key question: did the United States accept this proposal out of necessity? Previously, Trump had clearly stated that he would never allow Iran to control the Strait of Hormuz. But now, the situation appears to have shifted. Analysts suggest that the US may be adjusting to ground realities. Iran has indicated that the strait will remain open, but under its own terms. Countries may need to coordinate with Iran for passage, which effectively strengthens Iran's position. This gives Iran both political and strategic leverage, especially after enduring significant damage during the conflict. Interestingly, Pakistan has emerged as an important diplomatic player in this situation. Reports indicate that Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has been involved in facilitating communication between the US and Iran. There are also expectations that peace talks could take place in Islamabad. In diplomacy, there's a well-known saying, "If you're not at the table, you're on the menu." This highlights why Pakistan's involvement is strategically important. Being part of the conversation gives influence. Despite these developments, one major challenge remains trust. Iran has repeatedly expressed concerns that in previous negotiations, they were betrayed. While talks were ongoing, military actions were carried out against them. Because of this history, Iran is likely to approach any new negotiations with caution. Building trust between all parties will be essential, but also extremely difficult. If trust is broken again, it could discourage future diplomatic efforts altogether. Looking at the broader picture, both sides have suffered losses during this conflict. Iran has faced economic damage and destruction of infrastructure. However, politically, it appears to have gained leverage. On the other hand, the United States and its allies have not fully achieved some of their key objectives, such as completely limiting Iran's nuclear or missile capabilities or forcing major political change. Some analysts believe that while Iran is economically weaker, it has emerged politically stronger. Following the ceasefire announcement, global markets have reacted positively. Oil prices, which had surged during the conflict, have now dropped significantly. This suggests that investors expect reduced tensions in the region. In fact, this drop is being described as one of the sharpest declines seen in recent times, highlighting how sensitive global markets are to geopolitical developments. So, what we are seeing right now is not a final peace agreement, but rather a temporary pause, a window of opportunity. All eyes are now on potential negotiations, possibly in Islamabad, which could determine the future direction of this conflict. Whether this leads to lasting peace or renewed tensions will depend on the outcome.